Hey everybody, welcome to Bura. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about Europe's decision to make all charger ports USB-C. Alright, welcome back. First, this video, and make sure you like, subscribe. The more likes, subscribes you get, the more content we can make. Number one reason why you subscribe to this amazing YouTube channel is to get in the money-making trends before they go mainstream. So, there's been another big blow to Apple. Well, mostly because Europe has just said that it requires all devices to use USB-C. Now, this is something that I really wanted to happen, and guess what? It is going to happen now. So, if you don't already know, Apple has their own proprietary charging port, which is Lightning, and there's so many different kinds of cables that you need to use for just charging up your devices. And the thing is that European consumers were complaining that their desks were being filled up with all these different kinds of charging ports. Well, wouldn't it be great if we could just use one charging port? Now, believe it or not, this actually does happen with electrical outlets. Most electrical outlets are standardized by country, but in this case, there's going to be a whole region that's going to be standardized by USB-C. And this is absolutely amazing, because if there's one thing I really hate about my iPhone is the fact that it doesn't have a USB-C port. So Apple, of course, said they didn't like this, and this is not exactly a good month for Apple because they just recently lost the Epic Apple lawsuit, and now this. And this is going to cause a lot of ripples across their supply chains. Now the question is will they make it standard on the iPhone, or there's a rumor that they're going to make the iPhone just have no charging port, that is going to be just completely wireless and there's going to be no port. Now I really hate that idea, and I really hope they don't do that. There's also a rumor that the new MacBook Pros are going to have more slots than previous MacBook Pros, so it's clear to Apple, or at least from consumers to Apple, that people like their wireless devices. In fact, I'm recording this on an iPhone and I have this microphone which is plugged in. I really do hate Bluetooth wireless microphones. They are so unreliable. I really need a wired input just to be reliable. It's so easy to just plug something in and then use that. Now, of course, I'd actually have to buy a new lapel mic because this is a Lightning port, and I'd have to buy a USB-C one if I want to upgrade my phone. But hopefully that's the end of it, because I can use that USB-C phone for, well, maybe 5 years before the next USB-C iteration comes out. And maybe the next iteration that comes out for USB-C, let's say USB-C-D, is exactly the same thing, it's just upgraded inside. Now, of course, not all USB-C ports are created equal, and that's a story for a different time. But nevertheless, I do like the idea of having whatever device you have be charged by one adapter. And that way you can plug in whatever device that you want with a USB-C port. This will make my life so much easier, and I think it's going to make a lot of other people's lives easier as well. This means that if you're charging anything from your phone to your computer to your bike lights, it doesn't matter what it is, it's just a USB-C. And I think it's going to make things a lot simpler because you'll be able to just pick up any kind of USB-C anywhere and mostly charge it. And this is good because it will also increase competition, and competition drives down prices and increases innovation. So this is nothing but a good thing. Now, to be clear, I do really like Apple. I just want my Apple device to have a USB-C. I think it would be a lot easier for me, and well, frankly, it'd be a lot easier for Apple too, considering their supply chain, but it won't make them as much money. And this is why Apple fights tooth and nail for every single one of these issues. It's because they're a publicly traded company, and well, their shareholders will lose out. Now, there's about 4 things that Apple is up against, and they've currently lost 2 of them, at least, well, 1.5 if you consider Europe to be a big market. So the first thing that they lost was the ability to only charge going through their app store. That's now out the door. The second one is they are forced to put in a USB-C on Europe, and what will probably happen after that is that other countries will follow. Perhaps South Korea will be the next one, because South Korea tends to implement these kinds of laws. Now, the other 2 ones are the right to repair and the ability to side load apps onto my iPhone and iOS devices, and perhaps the iPad as well. And this is also going to be huge because my Mac works fine, it's virus free, and I just want the same kind of functionality on my phone and my iPad. If I want to be able to go to a different third-party app store that maybe offers developers at better rates, thus making them a little bit more profitable, I might want that choice as a consumer. Now, of course, there are lots of problems, but I'm sure the smart people of Apple will figure it out. Now, of course, you can expect Apple to fight this tooth and nail, every step of the way because, again, they are a publicly traded company and it will eat into their profits. But Apple's in such a position that they can make this work and probably make it work well for consumers. Now, in fact, I think your iPhone devices are going to be better as a result of all these changes versus worse. Now, I also think that competition and innovation are great things, and all of these 4 things that I mentioned stifle competition, which is the one reason why I hope they change. Now, the big one is the right to repair because it doesn't only affect Apple, it affects a whole bunch of other items as well. And most notably is farm equipment, because farm equipment has a lot of digital rights management on it, and it's really quite ridiculous. If your livelihood is based around farm equipment and you have to haul your tractor to a John Deere location, it will really impact your profitability. Now, that issue goes well beyond Apple, but for Apple's case, there will be third-party parts and there will be third-party services that will drive down the price. And again, I think that's a good thing. Of course, I do like Apple, and I know there's a lot of reasons as to why Apple does the things the way they do. In fact, even if there was competition, I'd still probably take my phone to be repaired at the Apple Store versus a third-party person. I just want a better price at the Apple Store. And if this competition does drive down that price, that's great. And again, I would probably do everything in-house with Apple. So what can we expect going forward? Well, this is a trend and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. If Europe does it, then South Korea might do it. And if South Korea does it, then maybe Japan does it. And if Japan does it, maybe Australia, New Zealand do it. And if they do it, then Canada, the UK do it. Then all of a sudden, you have a whole bunch of people doing all of these things like USB-C and right to repair, etc. And again, I think that's best for consumers. If there's one thing I like is that competition drives prices down and innovation up, which moves everybody forward. All right, so that concludes this video. I want to know your thoughts down below. Is USB-C good? Is it not going to be a good thing? Do you like using your Lightning connector more than a USB-C? Again, just please have your comments down below. Remember, this channel is your Patreon. I said we sell our digital products down. The more money you get from the content you buy below, the more content on this channel we can make. If you really like this channel, you can subscribe to Man with the Interactive's huge library of content. We release 20-60 hours of fresh new content per month, every single month. It really does help us out when you buy those subscriptions. We release a ton of coding tutorials and they are really good. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in another video.